Hello and welcome to the 138th episode of the Bottom Knitting Podcast. My name is Ramona. I'm a knitter from Toronto and welcome to my corner of the crafting world. Okay, so a week has passed since I last did an episode. So let me show you everything that I got done. I have a finished object. I've got a bunch of works in progress. I got 2 new cast-ons, some learning material, so to speak, and a couple of stash enhancements, kind of. It goes through with my learning process. Yeah, so let's get started. So for my finished object, I finished my brother's hat, one of my brother's hats. So he wanted it slouchy, so got that part done. And here it is. This is, I fold it back like that. This is the 2-color cable hat by, the pattern is by Line Brand yarns, and the yarn I'm using for this is Darurum Natura Gilead in the colorway Fig for the dark purple, and then Ciel for the light blue. It took me a while, but I got it. So he wanted it slouchy, so his head is, I believe his head is bigger than mine. If not, well then, it's extra slouchy. I haven't washed and blocked it yet. I was waiting to show it off because I was afraid it was not going to dry in time if I went and I blocked it. So I actually finished this by like the Tuesday afterwards. It was like really, really quick. But then I was waiting for stuff before I actually got a chance to block it. So the stuff have arrived, so now I can do that. So, yay. So that was the one finished object that I have. I'm very happy with the way that it turned out. I think I may have messed up a little bit on the cables. Like, I think I made one of them too short. But, like, now I'm looking at it, I understand exactly how it is. I would redo this pattern. I would probably cast on a little bit less, though. But I don't know. I'd have to see how it is on his head. But I will know after I've washed and blocked. I just hope it shrinks a little bit. We'll see what happens. So that is my one finished object. Okay, so let's go through my works in progress. I'm going to be honest, with the wool and honey, I didn't get time to work on it this week. Because just about everything was actually hands-on, like actually on the computer like the entire time. So I didn't get a chance to pick it up and work on it. So now that means I've got to make a conscientious effort to sit down and do it during my normal knitting time, which is like, you know, before work and after work. So it's in the same spot you saw it last week. It's the same spot it is this week. So I'm not going to bother taking it out. I did manage to put in a little bit on my C6 sweater. Not much. Not as much as I liked, but still a little. Hold on, let me take it out. It is currently now living in my Longview Creations bag because that's big enough to hold it and keep it out of the way when necessary. So let's see. I was there. So I'm still haven't reached to the actual sleeve. I'm still doing the right side. I'm making my way up to the rest of the shoulder. So last time you had seen, I was here where I had just joined. I've done maybe about 3 repeats. Yeah, maybe about 3 repeats. I also created a design feature. Tell me if you could see what it is. I'll leave it at that. So just as a reminder, this is a pattern by Helen Issager from her, it's from her book called Knit. Yeah, that's what it's called. So the yarn that I use for this is from the Knitting Loft. It is their Boots base and their Dust base, held together, in the colorway Honey. This one, I actually forgot to mention it last week. I didn't even realize. This is my contrasting color that I'm using for, all of the ribbing. This is from Julie Asselin in her sports base, and the colorway is called Petite Pousse. It's a beautiful shade of green, isn't it? Like, I love the fact it looks like it could almost match my falls. I think that's why I like it so much. I'm gonna see maybe if I should make something out of this color. I'm gonna have at least, I think I'm gonna have, if not one skein, maybe about 75% of a single skein. Because I bought 2, because the yardage according to the pattern was a little bit more than 1 skein of sport. So I'm going to have some left over. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. We'll have to see. But yeah, it still looks great. It still looks great. I got a long way to go though. Hopefully by the time you see it next week, I will at the very least be fully on the sleeve. That would be awesome. If I was fully on the sleeve, I'd be very happy with that progress. So my work in progress. Next. it is my new cast-ons, right? Yes, my new cast-ons. So when I finished the hat for one brother, I started on the hat for the other one. I have not made it far in this one at all. My goal was by this point, I would probably be like at least a quarter or a third of the way through the pattern. The pattern is more than ribbing and it's not a headband. So obviously I have not made it there. Okay, so first of all, the yarn that I'm using for this one is the Roram Natura Cyrano in the colorway Tempest, which is like a navy blue. Clearly see there. I'm actually still on the first needle size. I haven't gone up yet. These are the US 5s. And the hat pattern that I'm doing is called the October Hat by Sloan Rosenthal. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. And it's a beautiful cable pattern. And I cannot get weighted. I cannot wait until I actually make it to the cable. Because I got to do 5 inches of this, which I think is going to be very useful. Because my brother has a lot of hair. Like a lot of hair. So I would like it if I put a hat on his head that he has the option, like if his hair is, if his hair is braided back, then he can just fold up the brim. If his hair is, in a sense, out, then he can like, in a sense, just unfold the brim and he'd still be able to wear it. That's what I'd like. So I started it probably about Wednesday and I have not made it far. So I got a lot of work to do. Hopefully by next week, at the very least, the ribbing will be done. Because I think once the ribbing is done, the cable will be like so addictive that I'll start hopefully fly through it. But I've been saying that a lot and haven't been able to do that. So that is my hope for that. And my other new cast on is my February socks, which I like it where it is now. I wasn't too fond of it when I first started when I tried the pattern. Because I think last week, Monday, I made the final decision as to which pattern I was going to do. And this is the Times Square pattern by Mina Phillips. There's this one little technique on it that I didn't quite understand. And I didn't see a video for it. So I had tried to figure it out by looking it up on YouTube. But it wasn't the same thing. They called it the same thing, but I think it was specific to that person's pattern. The technique was the same, but the technique was the same, but what they were doing was not what I needed it to be done. I got help from the Zoom group from Love and Stitches. They were able to help me a little bit, and almost the same day, I swear it was the same evening, a video popped up randomly for a tutorial on Instagram by somebody I don't even follow doing the exact same technique. I'm like, excuse me, what? So I made sure I saved it and I went back and I tried it again. And this is after I'd already made it about a few rounds in and then I just pulled it all back and I didn't like it. So I had to start again and it actually turned out okay. Yeah. So the yarn that I'm using for this is, it's the Knitting Loft in their Boot Space in the colorway. Why did I suddenly forget it? Seafoam. That's the color. And the colorway Seafoam. It's a beautiful color. I paired it with, I'm not certain where this yarn was from. I think it might be from, hold on. Yeah, I'm really not sure. I don't think it was a leftover from a project. I think it was a mini skein that I had gotten. And I don't know why, it's kind of making me think it was from my advent calendar for 2020. And I'm the advent calendar I'm thinking of is the one from Sweet Georgia. I guess that's a possibility, but I remember her colors being a lot more solid. That's the only thing. I'm not sure. I just know I have a lot of mini skein leftovers and I toss them all together, and as long as they're like sock weight, they get thrown in there, and if they can be used, they can be. So I do like this. I think it's pretty. And yeah, I am almost, I think I have one more repeat. Yeah, I'm partway. Yeah, I have one more repeat before I put in the heel. And if I do that, that means I'll be completely caught up to where I'm, no, actually, I think I'll be ahead. Hold on, let me just check my, my schedule here that I had made for myself and completely ignored it. Huh. No, I would, guess what? Yeah, if I managed to get the heel in, I'll be generally caught up to what I've expected because I wanted the leg done by yesterday, and with one more repeat, that'll get done. That's okay. That is okay. Considering I like pretty much ripped it all out and started all over again, I'm satisfied with that. So here it is. I left the back plain. Mind you, Amina's pattern, she really only says to do it on the front, but I just didn't want to do anything else for it. So that's why that's like that. I think that is everything for my new cast-ons. So let's go on with, ooh, I just realized I forgot to get something. I'll be right back. I'm just saying that sometimes Zoom groups are, they are very, they make you buy things you don't intend to buy. Not that you don't need it. You do need it, but you weren't even thinking about it. You're just going to do it the difficult way. So in the Love and Stitches membership right now, for the month of February, it's devoted to color work. I don't do much color work. Every once in a while, you know, I'll do it. But then I've seen these before, but I've never gotten one before. It never really bothered me that much. But I decided if I really want to give this a try, might as well try it, really. And I didn't pay that much for this anyway. So I went on Amazon and I got one of these ones, the little ring. But of course, they don't sell just one. I got a bag full. So they've got like two sizes. They got like this really big one and this smaller one. And the smaller one fits my index finger just fine. But I guess if I ever wanted to wear it on my thumb, I can. I don't know what I'm going to do with the extra ones. As long as I don't lose them, I'm happy. Next Amazon purchase that I spontaneously made. For the month of March, for the Love and Stitches membership, it's crochet. And obviously I do not know how to crochet. So you heard last week how I got my, nope, not that one. Where is it? Where'd it go? Oh, I had put it. Oh, here it is. I had gotten, you know, my crochet hook. I actually took it out of the box this week. I used it a little bit on Friday. And, you know, try it out. I got the yarn and everything like that. But then afterwards, I actually looked in the pattern, and it said I'm supposed to hold the yarn double. Oh, sorry. The pattern I wanted to do for it was the float tote, probably by Nitty Natty. Probably the mini one. I don't want to start with something big. Why would I want to do that? It could be just one of the little totes that you put on the inside. What I could do, I'm not sure. I haven't fully decided. So, but I realized the yarn is held double. The suggestion for the needle size is a 6mm. And that's not what I got. This is a 4.5. Right? I like it. It's good for working for a single strand of the yarn that you need for the float tote. But for holding it double, this I think is going to be a bit too small. So I said, okay, I could wait until I go to the loft, but I wasn't planning on going there this week. So I said, screw it, I'll just get it from Amazon because I know they exist. But of course, at Amazon, apparently, you can never just buy a single hook for a decent price. You have to buy an entire kit and caboodle kit. All because I wanted this. So now I have, but this is like the smallest one out of all of them. So now I have a bunch of other bigger hooks, plus tapestry needles, and I believe some stitch marker hooks. Okay, fine. I will put these aside for later. This one will do me well. I'll see how much I like it. I really like the feel of these ones, so I may end up rebuying it at a later date, depending as to how I like the feel of it. This one's actually feels like it's actually metal on the inside. This one is not, but this one is also still very comfortable. So depending how I like it, I may end up buying the 6mm in the Prim at a later date when I get more proficient at it. We'll have to see. So that was my stash enhancement. So along with that, I'm like, okay, well, I'm also going to need like yarn to practice on. She suggested sugar and cream, so let me go get that. They have sugar and cream on Amazon. Because the Knitting Loft doesn't do sugar and cream. They do, I guess what you consider higher end cotton, so to speak. So, and I know around the corner from the loft, there is Michael's. I didn't want to go all the way to Michael's. Like I'd actually have to go past the Knitting Loft to get to the Michael's for one skein of sugar and cream. It's okay. I just ordered on Amazon. So I got it. And then let's get started on how that's been going. So the first thing that I tried, I did the chain. That's like the first thing anybody really ever learns. But then afterwards, it was a matter of figuring out which tutorials work best. And this is for scratch beginners. Like, I can do a chain. But for the chain, you don't even need to use a needle. You can just use your finger to do that chain, right? So, but then you got to figure out how to do it, and somebody who would show you from the beginning. So I got quite a few suggestions. And I went through the YouTube videos and I found the ones that worked for me. The one from Nitty Natty, that was pretty good. The other one that I did was TL Yarn Crafts. That one was so helpful. The other one that I really liked was Very Pink Slow Motion Crochet. Yeah, that one was really good as well. So but the one I used the most was the one from TL Yarn Crafts. And she started it out with like showing you about not casting on. Yeah, how to do the chain, doing the foundation, the first row, and then doing like your singles, your doubles. Sorry, your singles, your half doubles, your doubles, and afterwards a single. Not a single. Is it a single? No. Let's try this again. Singles, single chain, half double chain, and slip stitches. That was the other thing. So I learned about those. I did them on my swatch. She also gave this great tip about using stitch markers to mark your beginning of end as you work. To me, it's easier, it's more obvious when you're knitting where the beginning of your row is and where the end of your row is, especially if you're doing it flat. It's not the same for crochet. Maybe because I just don't know the anatomy of it. So her suggestion really helped. But here's what it is. This is what I did. Not necessarily the best, but it technically can be used as a washcloth, so I'm really proud about that. So my singles, my half doubles are about there, and my double chains are up here. And then the slip stitch is just right up there at the top. It's not even. And at one point, like I started out with 15. At one point I made up to 17. And somehow I sneaked in a decrease on there. I don't know how I did it, but I did it. And I got it to stay. I got it back to the 15. So like I still have to work on my tension and all that kind of stuff, but I'm pretty proud. Other people from the membership are telling me that it's easier to crochet in the round than it is flat. Or they find it easier. Me, I find it easier to knit in the round than I do to knit flat. Yeah. Because I don't even know why. So I started going through the float tote tutorial. And because I needed to use the 2 strands for it, that's why I just got the sugar, the what's it called again? Sugar and cream from Amazon. So let me show you what I did so far. So is this. So this also involves increasing. So I learned the basics of increasing, but somehow or another I got this thing. I don't think it's supposed to be like that. I think I might have gone over 1, but I'm actually quite proud of that. Because the magic circle, I did that. Apparently it's not supposed to be that easy, but Mona didn't find it that difficult. I did it with 1 strand before, and then after I tried it again with the double strand. And the double strand, it's just more to manipulate, but I didn't find it that bad. So technically with this, I could say I did a coaster. See, I did a washcloth, a dishcloth, and a coaster. I'm making progress, man. So I'm proud of my learning as to what I did. Yeah, that's everything for that. Yeah, it feels pretty sturdy. I put it this way. After going through this, I'm pretty certain I can get to do at least one of the cups from the float tote. Yeah, that would make me so happy if I was able to do that. I believe that is everything for what I was actually working on. So let's go through to the next thing. All right. So the whole plan for today, for me it's Sunday, was to go, since I had gotten, maybe I should start from earlier on in the week. About Wednesday or so, I got notification from Canada Post that my yarn has arrived in the country. Yeah, I could tell by, you know, my app. It tells me that. However, I have to pay custom duty on it. I'm like, okay, I'm not complaining about that. So, I called Canada Post just to ask a simple question, because it didn't come. If it came in through Mississauga, because I've had this happen to me before, but not very often. But I know if it comes in and it lands in like Toronto, Mississauga area, that I could still go pick it up at my post office, right? It's never been a problem. But I wasn't certain how it would work if it went all the way, if it started out in Vancouver and then has to come all the way over here. So I just basically called them to find out. I'm like, okay, so are you guys going to still send it to like my more local post office so I can just get to pay it by debit? They're like, yeah, sure, no problem. I'm like, okay, good. So Friday, I'm like, I know it's supposed to arrive at my house. I'm sitting down there staring at the app, and I was waiting for them to say, we attempted to drop it off and we were unable to. I knew it wasn't going to happen. So after I got my notification slip that it had arrived, I called Canada Post again to ask if, because it says you have to wait 1 business day before you get it. The post office in Shoppers Drug Mart, that's like my closest post office. They're open on the weekend for you to be able to like pick up and drop off, right? So I said, okay, well then let me call them. So I called them directly, and I asked like, if I have something that's supposed to be arriving on Friday, would I be able to come and pick it up on Sunday? Yeah, sure, no problem. We're open. You can come and get it. I'm like, okay. So I planned my Sunday around it. I decided to do my trip to Starbucks, and I called in, find out, is your dining area open? Just to sit down and enjoy a drink and a sandwich and knit and watch Raising Dion. Season 2 is back, so I was very happy about that. So I was happy about that. So I did that, enjoyed my food, timed it up so that by the time I make it to the post office, it's just after 12, which is right when they open. Waited my turn, walked up to the thing. The girl took one look at it. She's like, it's not going to be here till tomorrow. I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, if it's meant to be dropped off at the post office itself instead of to your house, they don't drop it off until their next business day. Not this post office, but Canada Post on general. And they're like, dang. So basically I set up my whole day in order to be able to get my yarn order, and I still have to go back again tomorrow. Here's my problem. I don't like walking through the snow. And that means I gotta go back and walk out in the snow again tomorrow after work. I'm not happy, but, you know, it is what it is. Like, they did say 1 business day. Technically, you know, it just disappointed me, that's all. So, I'm still waiting for my order of Moonglow yarn. It's not far. I just gotta wait for it to get here. And then once I have it, I will put it in my stash, and then I don't need it for anything right now. So the rush on it, there is none. Let's see. What else is there? I think I made, hold on. I think I actually did make, I ordered like a couple more stuff. I really didn't need to, but I did. I did an order for, Leading Men Fiber Arts. Last time I had ordered something from them was when I got in the yarn for the Floral Spell. It was a mini skein set that I really loved, and I did a pair of socks last summer. Other than that, I never used a yarn otherwise, but I had been hearing about it for a while. So I think it was, I have a special skein that came out in the beginning of February. I put in an order for it. So that's on its way to my house. Then also, I put in an order at Ritz Fiber Arts. I think it was the Valentine's Day one, or something to do with Valentine's Day. Probably. I think that's what it was. I can't remember. And then afterwards, later on in the week, I put in an order from Ravenwood Fiber Arts. That is it. I am not allowed to go out and go buy more yarn for a while. Like, I don't need it, but I looked at it, I'm like, oh, it's pretty. That's enough prettiness for now. I need to stop. So it's like, basically, unless I'm buying it for a specific project, I need to stop. So like, stuff like, I'm buying it for a specific hat. Wash and weight's not something I frequently have. That's okay. I need to take a hand off of the fingering weight yarn. The sock yarn, I need to take a rest from. Like, I have a cupboard full of nothing but self-striping in here. I got so much yarn leftovers here. I got mini skeins over there, plus full skeins over there. I need to take a break for a while from it. Yeah. But I'm gonna have so much fun showing off what I get when I get it. But I gotta try and be a bit more responsible. You know, I don't like. So that is actually going to be everything for today. Yeah, that's gonna be everything for today. Thank you for spending your knitting time with me. Or whatever kind of crafting, because right now Mona's on Crochet World. And have a good day. Hope to see you again soon. Bye.